up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be doing the match analysis from the match yesterday between Barcelona and Getafe, where based on the scoreline, Barcelona secured a narrow 1-0 victory, but it was a very comfortable 1-0 victory from the Blaugrana side. We'll talk about the tactics going to this match, how Flick implemented the Barcelona side against the borderless 4-5-1 formation, discuss some individual performances as well, and what we can look forward to and learn from this game, and also 5 key things that we did learn from this match that of course can be a snowball effect for performances to come. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get the 200 likes this video, be very much appreciated. Also, if you're new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, before we get into this video is sponsored by Number One Foot. Number One Foot is by far the best replica jersey website on the market, and it's not even close. They have a variety of different items at the absolute best prices. They sent me 2 kits recently. First one is the retro Barcelona kit, the home kit, which I'm currently wearing right now, and also as well the second kit for that season in the blue edition. Oh my god, like the stitching is fantastic, the quality is, superb. Feels like I have the actual, original kit for a fraction of the price. And if you use the discount code BOY at checkout, you do get 10% off your order. That's BOY. Use it at checkout, and all orders above $80 as well will receive free shipping. So what are you waiting for? Hit the top link in the description down below and get your new football kits today. Let's start off with the first thing that we learned from this match, and that is Hansi Flick's game plan against low block sides in La Liga that he did talk about in his post-match press conference. But before we get into that, let's take a look at the team's overall analysis based on the statistical point of view. You can see that Barcelona as a whole secured an overall SofaScore rating of 7.22, with of course high ratings for the majority of the starting 11. You have Raphinha kind of low there just due to the red card, and Eric Garcia due to a few misplaced passes in different areas of the pitch. You can also see here the average positioning of the players as well. On the left hand side is the starting lineup, on the right hand side is when the substitutions were implemented. And you can see here on the left hand side where again a lot of narrow approach was needed in this game. You can see Lamine Yamal tucking in more inside. On the right hand side you can see Kounde was more of the wide threat for Barcelona in this match, and again a very narrow for Raphinha, Pablo Torre, and Lewandowski. Again, Raphinha did play about 20 minutes in the 10s, that will have an effect, and you can see there Eric Garcia and Casado as well dominating that midfield with the subs coming in. Not much really changed. You had Ferran Torres basically playing in that Lewandowski area, Pedri dropping deeper to compose the game, and then Gerard Martin, Hector Ford barely had any time to even get a touch on the ball. Now if you look at the stats in this game, firstly Barcelona had 78% of the possession with a 1.92 xG, 3 big chances created, 15 shots in total, 7 corner kicks, 4 fouls, 625 passes attempted, 12 tackles, and 14 free kicks as well. You can see in the middle there the shot graphic of where the shots that come in this match, a lot of them being outside the area due again to the Getafe low block. There's 15 shots of course in total, 4 of them on target, 1 hit the woodwork. That was of course Lamine Yamal, with 6 being inside the area and 9 being outside the area. So again, a lot more shots taken more outside the box, which again as Barcelona fans have been crying now for a numerous amount of years. You can see also the heat concentration for this game, where again the majority of Barcelona play did go down the right hand side, but the left hand side was used a considerable amount in this game that we haven't seen in recent matches. We of course had 1 big chance scored. We had 28 touches in the penalty area and 4 fouls in the final third, alongside with a total of 5 offsides. They had 7, which means again showing Barcelona's high line being used. You can see the heat concentration of the game as well, where the ball was spent for the majority of the game. You can see mainly in the middle of the park, but also mainly in the Getafe final third. Now, of the 625 passes we did attempt in this game, we end up completing 555 of them. We had 22 throw-ins, 72 final third entries. We had a decent amount of long balls in this game, but again, crosses weren't the best. 2 out of 19 completed. We won the majority of our duels, and we also did win 75% of our total tackles. Now, if you take a look at the graphic on the screen where I will be discussing what Hansi Flick did implement in this game to be a bit different against the Getafe low block, apart from, of course, mainly having the high line, which again was really performed well in this game, much better than the match against Villarreal because there was more control. Again, the Villarreal game, you had Martin playing here, you had Dominguez alongside Inigo in this game, so they're a bit inexperienced with holding that line on a consistent basis. We also saw again Jules Kounde finally holding the line considerably well. But what he did in this game that was different, he had, of course, mainly Torre and Raphinha tucking in on this left-hand side. Lewandowski here trying to, cause trouble for the center backs. Eric Garcia making a lot of runs forward here. We saw him a lot on the left-hand side as well, picking up loose balls. Same with Casado over here as well. But the main difference is that he had Lamine Yamal tucked really in, which means that Barcelona with only mainly came in from the fullbacks. That's why Kounde had a field day, so many crosses from him. Same with Alejandro Balde as well. We will talk about them later on, but this was Flick's approach. He wanted to go more narrow than wide because he knew that Getafe would double team Lamine Yamal here. Now when they end up double teaming him inside, you of course saw Eric Garcia, Casado, Pablo Torre get into a lot of good areas at the top of the box. That's why our increased shots from outside the areas were there. Most of them were blocked, unfortunately, but that is the reason why. Because when the players come here and double team Lamine Yamal, the space opens on this side. We of course saw Lewandowski mainly holding the spaces here between the two center backs to try and create some space here for the outside midfielders. To be fair, Eric Garcia didn't really shoot that much. It was mainly Casado, Pablo Torre, a bit of Raphinha down that left-hand side. So that was Flick's approach. He wanted to have a more narrow approach, especially with Lamine Yamal. That was a key factor. That way the space would open up in the middle of the pitch for the other midfielders and forwards to have more space. Now, the second thing that we did learn in this match is the gradual improvement and natural ability of Jules Kounde at right back. Of course, he's been playing a lot at right back over the past 2 seasons at Barcelona, even though he's mainly signed as a center back. We had players dropping out of injuries, inconsistency, and also when we have put him there, he's been so incredibly reliable, and he has now pretty much, I wouldn't say officially adapted, but he's pretty much at a point now where you could say he is a natural fullback, and you can see that based on his performance in this game, as I talked about with a tactical board as well. In the match, he got the highest rating for Barcelona, a sofa score rating of 8.1. You can see from his heat map, of course, mainly playing right back, but you can see more movement in the final third than the defensive third. In the match, he played 90 minutes, which, by the way, is freaking nuts at this point. I think Kounde has played every single second of every single game so far this season. I cannot remember him being taken off whatsoever, which, again, is just unreal to his ability. He had 2 clearances. He attempted 4 dribbles and completed 2. 50% success rate with dribbles, which again for wingers is kind of a low number, but for fullbacks that is some top quality stuff. 1 interception, 3 total tackles. He was dribbled past once in this game. He had the 8 ground duels and 1-5. He completed and won all of his aerial duels. Did lose possession 19 times. He was offside once, had 100 touches, 84% pass accuracy, misplacing only 10 passes. He had 1 key pass. He attempted 3 crosses and completed 1, and he did of course create 1 big chance that led to the goal. All Kounde is really lacking now as a fullback is the effectiveness and the consistency in the final third. We're seeing now he's completing more dribbles, putting more crosses in the box, losing the ball a bit too much, and that mainly comes down to when 2 players are double teaming Lamine Yamal. They're then coincidentally very close to Kounde, so once he gets the ball, they kind of both press him very well, and it leaves him in a very tight area. Also, Kounde does receive a lot of loose balls. I'm not defending him. I think again he should be doing much better, not losing the ball that much. I think he should be maybe around 8 to 12, somewhere around there. I think 19 is a bit on the higher echelon, but in this match we saw a balanced fullback performance from Kounde. Defensive work rate, attacking work rate, getting into key areas. When we're hitting on the counterattack, he's there running, usually be a bit more slow, a bit more conservative with the play, but we're seeing a more agile, more movable fullback, mindset from Jules Kounde. Again, he's been absolutely elite defensively over the past 2 years. We know that, one of the best, if not the best in the world. Going forward is where he's lacked it, but now he is improving, and that has to be given credit where it's due to Hansi Flick, whether he's giving him more freedom, tactical instructions, recommendations, helping him out in training, whatever the case may be. There has been a big improvement with Kounde, attempting more dribbles. The crosses are being more accurate. He's being delivered in right and bigger areas as well. Overlapping runs more consistently and more quickly with the Lamine Yamal. It's only up from here with Jules Kounde. If he keeps this up, he could end this season as the undoubted and undisputed best right back in the world. Now, the third thing we learned from this match is the level and quality of Alejandro Balde's tenacious movement in the final third and how effective it can be for Barcelona once done right. Now, of course, in this match, he played really well with a 7.6 score rating. You can tell from his heat map, of course, playing at fullback, but again, similar to Kounde, mainly spending his time in the final third. You can see his heat map, a lot of it even touching the 18 euro box for Getafe. In the match, he played 88 minutes. He had 1 clearance, 1 block shot. He did the 12 ground duels, won 9 of them. He did the 2 aerial duels and won 1 of them. Lost possession 11 times. Was fouled 5 times. Did not commit a single foul. 73 touches, 90% pass accuracy, only misplacing 5 passes. 1 key pass. He had 1 long ball and completed it. He also attempted 7 dribbles and completed 4. This is the natural ability of a fullback. The difference between him and Jules Kounde is, of course, Balde does have the speed of a fullback, but also this tenacious mindset to progress the ball forward and also cut inside and create space when needed. That's what Kounde lacks as well. He's more of a by-the-book fullback, stay out wide, won't really cut inside that much. When he does cut inside, he tends to find a pass in the middle, but Balde continues that movement, continues that momentum and speed into the area to cause a big threat. What he lacked in this game was, again, that final touch and final cross in the final third, where we can see he can beat his man with the 4 dribbles completed. You can also see that he didn't lose the ball that much as well. Did not commit a foul either in this game. He's now becoming, we've always talked about Balde going forward, lacking the final touch, but he has the speed to get back, but also the defensive ability isn't quite there. He'll probably put a toe in or not. If he doesn't get it, he'll end up giving up. But now we're seeing that he's a bit more, he has a bit more grit to it. He's getting stuck in, pushing the ball forward, getting the ball back as well. He won't, give up so easily like we did see, of course, especially in the double season under Xavi. Even though Balde played great, it was mainly, of course, due to his movement in the final third and also in the middle as well with those cut runs inside. Defensively, he's a bit maybe lackluster at sometimes, not on a consistent basis. And we're seeing now how Balde is really showing up his whole entire play. And again, just get that crossing ability to a fine tune. I'm not saying it's to be 100% accurate with his crosses, but always making the right decision. When you have to cross in the middle, you cross in the middle. When you have to cut back, you have to cut back, and not vice versa. Once he gets that toned in, he'll be top, and we're seeing that he's being more effective now. He'll see that instead of making that, immediate cross, he'll cut it back. Instead of making that cut back cross, he'll maybe run inside, try to maybe make some space for the attacking midfielder like Pablo Torre, or for the winger like Raphinha. So again, the mindset of Balde is strengthening in that position, and with time, he will become a top fullback like we already know he has the potential of doing so. Now, the fourth thing that we've learned from this match is the comfortability that Inigo Martinez has in Barcelona's back line, and it's becoming more and more evident as the season progresses. You can even tell by the amount of minutes he's been playing. He's played basically every single minute this season. He, of course, was subbed off in the Villarreal game, but finished, of course, 90 minutes in this match. He did also get a 7.7 score rating. You can see from his heat map, of course, playing mainly as a left center back. You can see where he's been mainly playing, and that's, of course, him due to being leading the high line. You can see he's not going to be in Barcelona's box. He's more so going to be in the middle of the park between the box and the halfway line to keep the high line consistent. Again, in the match, played 90 minutes, had 3 clearances, 1 interception, 2 total tackles. He completed 100% of his ground duels and aerial duels, only lost the ball 8 times, 117 touches, 94% pass accuracy, only misplacing 7 passes, 1 key pass. He attempted 15 long balls and completed 11. Again, those diagonals to Lamine Yamal are scary because it just not only switches the play quickly, but opens up the space as well. Because when he's at the left center back, the momentum of the field and the positioning of both the Getafe and the opponent Barcelona players is all movement on that side. So when he switches the play, everything has to move that way, and when it does, Lamine Yamal in that space, that 5-second spell, has so much space to exploit the opponent, in this case being Getafe. And this is why Xavi and Barcelona managers in the past are so reliant on having a left-footed center back, and that's why I felt like Getafe could have had a chance this season, but of course with FFP, he ended up leaving. Look, Inigo is becoming more and more of someone that you can rely upon for a whole entire season. We saw last season how good he was in those key spells when he, had to come in and help the team out. Of course, that month where Arujo was injured and Kubarsi was still not emerging quite yet, he was playing, and of course he had played well in the Clasico and stuff like that. And he had his injury, did his hamstring for a month, and the other hamstring for a month as well. But we know how good he is. We come up against him in La Liga over the past 10 years for Sociedad and Bilbao. Valverde in 2017 was twerking for him, of course, in his prime. And now he has that ability that he had in his prime, but also with the experience on top of that. Him being able to command the back line and hold the high line to perfection is unbelievable. You can see every time the high line is being implemented, he puts his hands up, yelling at the linesman, signaling for the offside to be immediately put up, because he knows how to hold that structure, and that is a huge asset for Hansi Flick. And I'm genuinely sitting here wondering, when Araujo and Christensen come back fit, does Inigo still start? Because I genuinely think that could be a decent opportunity. I think Christian maybe will probably play in the midfield, so if Araujo comes back, will he drop out for Kubarsi, or will Inigo drop out for Araujo? That is going to be a huge headache for Hansi Flick, because what Inigo has done so far this season, he's performed at a very high level at his age for Barcelona, leading a back line of youngsters. Balde at left back, Kubarsi beside him, Kounde is a bit inexperienced as a fullback, but is getting into it. Dominguez against Villarreal, Gerard Martin. That Villarreal game I had to give him more credit for, because he was playing in a terrible situation with, you know, an inexperience on both his left-hand side and his right-hand side against a difficult team in an away ground. Still only managed to concede only one goal and get a 5-1 win. That has to be commemorated and highlighted even more so. He's becoming an unreal player for Barcelona, and his name needs to be mentioned more in the higher echelon of center backs in the world of football based on his consistency, experience, and reliability this season. And the fifth and final thing that we learned from this match is how fluid Casado is in the Hansi Flick system, and how easy it was for him to adapt to it in such a short period of time. We saw another fantastic performance from him in this match with a 7.4 SofaScore rating. You see from his heat map, of course, occupying basically everywhere in the middle of the park. In the match, he played 90 minutes, had 79 touches, 92% pass accuracy, only misplacing 5 passes. He had 1 key pass, he attempted 3 long balls, completed all 3. He attempted 8 ground duels and won 6 of them. He attempted 3 aerial duels and won 1 of them. Lost possession only 8 times. He committed one foul but was fouled himself 3 times, and he also did block 1 shot that was actually huge, I believe, early on in the match. Look, the issue that we all had last season was that Xavi never gave Casado a chance. Why? Because Xavi felt like he fit the pivot easier, a double pivot, should I say, sorry, than a single pivot. We saw under Rafa Marquez, he was occupying mainly in double pivot with who alongside him? Your boy Marc Bernal, especially in the latter stages of Barca Athletics last season. And we're seeing now that mainly, maybe sure he can't play as a single pivot, maybe he can do a job there, kind of like Frankie de Jong, for instance, but his ability to play a double pivot is such a huge asset to Barcelona, where again, like I mentioned with Inigo Martinez, to the point that when these players come back from injury, Gavi, Fermin, Olmo, Christensen, does Casado still start? He has been one of the best talents I've seen come out from Barca Athletic and, you know, La Masia. That's why we were all so surprised of the lack of minutes and lack of integration and chances he had last season. Now he's getting it. Again, he's been part of the first team now about 2 months, and look how important and integral he has become. Composure on the ball, the ability to read the game so easily as well. It feels like he's been playing with this team for 2 or 3 years now, but it's only been 2 or 3 months. It is that seamless. The transition from Barca Athletic to the first team for Casado is basically non-existent. He is a player that when he holds onto the ball, controls everything for Barcelona, because especially when Pedri plays beside him, he's kind of like the one that not is the destroyer where he'll go and win tackles, although he can do that. He'll be the one that's making the movement off the ball that creates a space for the player on the left of him. But of course, in this game where Eric Garcia is kind of being the more deeper one, we saw him adapt in this game to carrying the ball more forward. He is a top player, a top talent, and again, like I mentioned with Balde, there's only room to grow, and he's on the rise in this team. With more minutes, more consistency, he can be a top player for Barcelona for the present and for the future of the team. So that was a match analysis from the match yesterday between Barcelona and Getafe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course in the comments down below as well, let me know your thoughts on anything we discussed. You know, the team's breakdown. You think Hansi Flick approached this game well, and can this be implemented against future low blocks, and also on those key individual performances as well. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca.
Go,